Okay, now I need to. Now I know. I need to, yeah, grimy times, huh? Let me see. Do I need a different hat? So, you know, be chill with it. Be cool with it. Be cool with it. Throw with it. You know, people might think I'm a clown. Okay. I'm one fleeting title in a fucking ocean of transformation and a sea and a whirlpool of different types of chaos that you seek out help for, and I give the most help. Derp. So I know I look kind of like some type of way, but that's just what it is. So I wanted to come on here really, really quick. Really, really quick. And what I wanted to talk about was people. There are some people just in the sanctions of life. They will be in a particular mode of an assumptive spirit. Well, they will curate the balls out of to try to force a circumstance in a situation, and the examples could be plethorous, right? Someone could try to like arrange a circumstance or a scenario to lead you to a point A to a point B to a point C, for them to like contract you, take stuff away, resupply you with stuff, and then after upon that giving you maybe like a lower octave false position so they could trap you. They're going to try to contract you into a position with a false rhetoric, lying, manipulative story, perhaps. And I'm not saying anybody, I'm just saying that could happen, right? So as that could possibly happen, the thing that will save you and prevent that from happening is some type of awareness and intelligence, right? And even some good grace from like the universal law, right? So to combat manipulative narratives, there has to be obviously some type of awareness, intelligence, and some type of good favor, karma, merit with some type of natural law, so you could keep flowing into some type of balanced segue of positivity, right? Because people are in such a assumptive spirit, and I could break it down in a different analytical level. They'll curate a situation, and as they curate the situations could be many different examples in how situations get curated for you to get contracted, perhaps, and before the contract, the pre-contract, they'll lead you up to a situation to try to either like possibly like spoil your feelings, or they'll try to force you to do something and manipulate the rhetoric to like make it so you're kind of like being forced to like do a contract that you don't really resonate with. So I like you know, the universe and God like that, it recognizes that. But what I wanted to come on here today was like, the most ironic thing here is like people don't really see themselves outside of themselves. And it's ironic as fuck, because since they don't see themselves outside of themselves, they don't know their own intelligence could get measured like that, right? Their own intelligence is getting measured without them even knowing it, by them being in such a individual, like kind of like a particular introversion, you know, just kind of like an energetic, not good, not bad, like just kind of looking out for just one self. Like selfishness is not good and bad, but it could be like it's how the selfishness is used, right? Selfishness is not good or bad. It's how the selfishness is used with all the other themes and aspects and avenues that you're working with, right? So selfishness isn't bad, but the point of this video real quick that I just wanted to spew out real quick, and like I written my lyrics, I write them down, like I'm already ready for like 3 to 4 new songs. Like I'm already ready to like just jazz it out, like just to inspire a whole new wave of shit, you know, trends and shit, and actually bring. But I'm like taking my time, because like, so I'm building up on the songs and I'm writing the songs. So like maybe I could like build up to just like smash 4 songs in a row, and somehow all those 4 songs, somehow with the grace of the organization and the wordplay, 4 songs in a row could be bangers, perhaps. But I have to really put the work in to do that. But the reason I wanted to come on here on this video, and I know I look some type of way, like we're all like, the human being is something like, you know, respectively, like metaphorically, we already know, like it's something like Play-Doh, right? We're like something like we're being molded within the environment and the energy landscape, and how that temperament is changing, and that temperament environment is changing the people and us, and we're making a unique synergy environmental infusion within the alchemies of the season to be readapted and mutated in many different ways, right? So we're being mutated and adapted in many different ways. So the most ironic fucking thing here that I'm going to say right now is people don't realize that they don't realize, like, people are just, I get it, people are focused on like very niche things, and I'm not going to go into what they're focused on, but people don't realize that other people could see them. Pause. Like, people don't realize that other people could see the measure of their intelligence, and that's not even judgmental or condescending. There's no reason to get butthurt about that. That's the reality of it. It's the reality of people could see your intelligence, right? And if you get hurt, that's the lack of the shadow work there, right? But people are in such an assumptive spirit that they'll curate a certain type of motive, a micro situation, where as they kind of like behave in a particular way, and they know their particular behavior is trying to arouse a certain reaction, they're displaying a particular behavior that's arousing a particular attempt to arouse a particular reaction, that's their assumptive spirits assuming that you're going to react a certain way, because their behavior and their level of spiritual growth, which is it is what it is, they're just trying to like play something, right? For whatever fucking reason, just try to get a thrill out of you. But people are in assumptive spirits. They're in assumptive spirits where they think you're going to react a certain way for some odd reason. And that's the kicker right there. That's where you could see where their intelligence is at, by them assuming that you're going to respond and react a certain way, by them curating different contexts of situations and circumstances, be it at large or at small. And as they're curating certain type of situations, depending on how deep the manipulative agenda goes, they want to get you into some type of bearing contract esoterically. And within that bearing contract esoterically, they want to entrap you like a different tangibility of astrology, the thing that's post-astrology, the life of it, the after theme effects of the planets, living through the themes of the planets, fucking with the planets, being the micro aspects of the planets, and playing out the archetypes of those planets, and kind of like contemporarily playing with the things, the planets, and using them in like many different quote unquote ways, right? So people are in like assumptive spirits where they think that you're going to react and respond a certain way based on the behavior or the agenda they're curating, right? So that's the thing. It's like certain, and it is what it is. Like, certain programs are going to curate the balls before they're going to pitch their offer. And even as they pitch their offer in whatever they're professing their offer is, they're still going to curate it, and they're still going to have sketch contracts. It is what it is. Natural, neutral shit. What's up, Zuck? I don't give a fuck. I'm on a different spiritual platform, and I'm not calling just you out. I'm more of a bigger picture person. It's like, you could have an inclination to naturally have a fair contract to fuck with the best, or you could try to cut corners and work in the shadows and be the fake best, because that's just the original esoteric intelligence, and that's just what it is. So read between the lines. So the ironic thing here is people don't know that we could read where your intelligence is at based on your actions, based on your energetic intentions being felt and sensed by just the spirit team. And And just by how you keep, you know, either pushing that in some type of forceful way or not forceful way, and you spending energy in a way, in a dead end, and as you barely realize at the last moment you're spending your energy in the dead end, then you finally know energetically you're cheating yourself, because you know your energy is being spent and it's going nowhere, and you know you're draining your energy, and now you're defeating yourself without even me having to do like anything. And this is on some real godly shit, right? Because let the enemies defeat themselves, and let the, you know, let the innocent people flourish and be something of a Tao principle where, you know, things will just kind of take care of themselves. So the point of this video is like, people, whether they want to admit it or not, know it or not, can recognize it or not, want to heal it or not, they're curating certain situations so they can make you kind of try to attempt you for you to react a certain way. So once they get that particular reaction that they're hoping for with the fucked up agenda that they have, then they could try to ensnare you by saying, oh, I was right, I got the best of you, I knew you were going to react like that, but I'm not going to let you know that I planned that, but I know you planned that, and since I know you planned that, I'm not going to react like that, and you wanted me to react like that, but I didn't react like that. And since you wanted me to react like that, that was the basis of a manipulative agenda. So read between the lines. Like, I'm the most wisest motherfucker in the universe, and that can be proven. So I'm saying it full soulfully. Only the best will fuck with my shit, and all that other fake shit, y'all can leave that for the birds, and I'll leave that for the esoteric karma schematics to do its thing. Because literally, if it's a soul case and lifetime after lifetime after lifetime that governs your life circumstance, then the universe is perfect and it doesn't make mistakes, because there's a give and take transaction where there's a solution that's here for you and there's a solution that you're ignoring for some fucking reason. No judgment. I'm not pushing anything. I'm just trying to figure out the suffering of the world, and there has to be a reason for the suffering of the world, and there has to be a reasoning for the pleasure of the world. Hello, 3D. And that's just what it is. The smartest motherfucker in the universe and the realest motherfucker in the universe. And I'll die with that shit, you know? And, you know, the higher self being, you know, the original boss, right? The original fucking whatever, you know, pronoun you want to give it. So I just wanted to update y'all of just like don't sleep on my music career, but like I eventually want to stop doing the songs recording, and I don't want to necessarily record them in the raw way, but if I have to, I'll just re-record them later, you know, because if I feel it and I'm ready to just surge out and do and bust out some songs, I'll do that. But I just wanted to say, like, there's an ironic factor that within the growth of this planet Earth oppose the universe, your intelligence will kind of always keep growing, but how it's growing is up to you. It's entirely up to you, and how it's growing, you could either help that and prevent and be the opposite of the detrimental growth of it, or not. And if you don't want to heal the detrimental patterns in the growth, that's because the habits are too ingrained within the habits are too ingrained. They're too fixated within the physical body, and since they're too ingrained in the physical body and too embedded, you have to wait till the next life till you're like more susceptible to be open to a new different code. Because, like, you know, there could be different versions of me in just a niche context on the earth. There could be like just different part, like in just a very unique niche context, there could be like a very unique connection of my soul tribe, right? Like we could come from the same root, right? In a different spiritual way, because the family that you have, you're not necessarily connected with them in a different spiritual lineage. No, the family that you have, you're coming from different spiritual lineages, and you're coming from a different pool of differentiation genetics. And as you're coming from a pool of different differentiation genetics, you're coming to make a new experiment from just a different combination of different various types of diverse archetypes, right? So the main point of this video is people don't really see themselves outside of themselves for you to see yourself outside of yourself, you have to have some type of good merit to just to be in a mode of meditation, and tap into however you could see yourself outside of yourself. And I was, the spiritual teachers that told me to do things to kind of fixate on the meditation, they actually encouraged me not to do these extravagant meditations. They told me to be grounded, and the certain field was just it wasn't necessarily privy to doing a particular type of meditation for a certain time until a certain time is right. So I was just given a different programming, and I'm okay with not being I'm okay with not being an advanced I guess just just an advanced dreamer, but when I wake up in the dream and I feel myself floating, that's not necessarily directly me being conscious and and then having the conversion. It's just me kind of having a new awareness, and now I'm in the dream, and now I could have certain merits in the dream based on how healthy I keep my mind to remember the memory that I was in that dream, recalling the memory of the dream pretty much. But it's also what niche are you focusing on within the quote unquote the esoteric arena, right? End quote. Is it some type of air study? Is it some type of cleansing and creative project of just some raw, dynamic, maybe even erotic, path that's more pure fire? Or is it some type of water path where it's really you're really in the dream world, and you're really your primary is in the dream world? Or is it earth and you're just here to kind of work hands-on with the gardens and the agriculture? Or is it some type of just technical thing, right? So we all have different paths, it's not what we do, it's how we do it. So it's but that doesn't go to say that we could work with more than one element. We could obviously work with more than one element. That's why it's important not necessarily to compare, because we're all coming to our own realizations at our own rate, and we all have different contexts of ups and downs, right? What do I mean by that? Different contexts of ups and downs. After this life, we don't know if we're gonna have an ascension or descension, right? So that's a different context of an up and down from just feeling happy or feeling down, right? Or, succeeding in a certain path or failing in a certain path. So there's different contexts of ups and downs: emotional ups and downs, professional career, life path ups and downs, and then soulful ups and downs. So there's different types of ups and downs respectively. So within the different types of ups and downs, all we can really do is focus on the positive energy work to maintain some type of equilibrium, and not let the downness get the best of us, right? But sometimes that might happen, because the stars might not align in your favor. Sometimes we might just we're not always gonna feel happy, that. So the main point of this video was just to say and I should have wore a different hat. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm matchy enough. But yeah, and if someone even if someone does replicate the idea of perfect comparison, it will be detrimentalized. It will be kind of contaminated, because it won't be pure to its original touch and intention, right? It's called original perfect comparison for a reason. It's supposed to be original, and it's supposed to be honor the quote unquote attempted perfection of energetic alignment, which means to actually do the perfect comparison at its root. So even if someone replicates that, it won't necessarily be a truthful thing. So why did I bring it up like that? Lost my train of thought. Yeah, because you know, only like the raw truthful like people will like see between the polarities, right? Because someone might not like me or something I'm saying, but even that is temporary, and even that is subject to change with the new realizations that you have. Maybe you'll come back to something I said that you didn't understand or didn't like, and you'll come back later and you'll understand in the future why I had to do it, how I had to do it, right? Why I had to do it, how I had to do it was to kind of alert the good, positive, balanced frequency message so that could actually take root, right? So it could ironically whirlpool in a positivity, so it could help your tribal dynamic whirlpool into a possible positivity. But that's the thing, it's just a possibility though. So it's like if someone were to replicate original perfect comparison, they already are having murky waters with it because it's not authentic and it's not whole to what it into the energetic intention that it has, right? So that's why if people like, you know, go past it, that's okay on a real esoteric and intellectual level. That's their incompletion, and that's their esoteric analysis of themselves, of how they're opposed from the best. Because on a different level, we could measure what the best is, right? Like what has the more significant impacts. And I know people will be like just kind of like, you know, grotesque and cringe at that, right? They'll be grotesque and cringe at that because they always want to like, they don't people don't some people don't like to be challenged, right? But that's the beauty of life. It's like we need some type of challenge, right? Because without that challenge, then what's going to make us grow? And it's like God is putting the suffering in the 3D, and we came to 3D, so we're stuck with the challenge of some type of different contexts of suffering, so we could overcome and have a unique growth, a soul growth, so we could keep moving with our lives. Because I'm breaking down why suffering exists since 2017, and I'm breaking down how to like, you know, get out of the bad karmas since 2017 type of shit. So if someone has some type of left foot judgment on me, I would love to hear your logic. And if you're not brave enough to have that logic, and for some reason it's a different case with me, because there's like, you know, like there's just like, you know, behind the scenes, everyone's watching on a different channel, but it's not like presented to me for some reason. That's just some weird ass shit. It is what it is. I'm not tripping, but I'm just saying it's like, just be brave, you know, just be fucking brave at the end of the day. And if you don't want to be brave, then just have fun with that fluffy ass rhetoric and the fleeting material life. And hopefully, and ironically, hopefully you keep going strong, right? So there's an irony to this shit. Aside from me, you know, doing this little like, you know, these, you know, I guess these jabs or whatever, there's a bigger intention, there's a bigger thing going on than just the two-dimensional shit, right? It's me calling for the authenticity of whatever you're saying. Is it really real? And I know I should probably brush my teeth. I brushed them twice, but earlier today. And yeah, so like the main point of this video was like, people's intelligence rate, it's kind of slowed down. But just because it's slowed down, that doesn't necessarily mean it could keep going forward, but it's just at a slow rate. Because guess what? 2025, wake up call. We could see where your level of intelligence is at by the situations that you're curating and the reaction and the response that you're expecting based on how you're displaying a certain type of behavior. And as you're displaying a certain type of behavior, you have an assumptive spirit to try to to think I'm going to respond a certain way when I'm not going to respond that way. But it did, like, obviously, like, every situation's different. So at the end of the day, it's really about the growth of the soul and putting the soul first, perhaps, but not being too aloof with that and balancing it within the physical, right? So at the end of the day, it's about the growth of the soul and the human, perhaps in an innocent fashion, naturally speaking, in natural innocence, not like a human goody two-shoe innocence, like a natural innocence, right? like some like, you know, human design type of shit, respectively. So that I juiced out that point. So I'm gonna conclude this video. And it's like, thank you guys, thank you. And yeah, I'll come out with more songs, right? Yeah. May the best win.